In this video, we are going to unbox, assemble, go over the functions, test ride, and review the ESKUTE Star Folding 20-inch fat tire e-bike. It has a powerful 500-watt Bafang rear hub motor with a max speed of 22 miles per hour, 5 levels of pedal assist with a thumb throttle, 48-volt 20-amp-hour battery with a range of up to 80 miles, hydraulic disc brakes, 7-speed Shimano shifter, LED headlight and tail light, and front shocks. More specs can be found in the description section below. This is the box that it came in. For the interest of time, I'm going to open it and take everything out. This is everything inside the box placed on the table. It came with this other box, which I'll open right now. Inside this box, there are the tools, there's the pedals, and then this is the charger. Inside the tool bag, there is a warranty card. There's Allen keys, wrenches, and a flathead and Phillips head screwdriver. Now I'm just going to take all the foam off. All the zip ties and foam have been removed. This is everything. It's 90% assembled. I just need to put the front wheel on. Looks like I need to put the handlebar right here, and then I need to install the front fender and the light. So let's do that right now. Over here we have this lever. We just pull this up here and pull this, and it locks in place. If I try pushing this lever forward, it does not unlock. I need to push this up and then it unlocks. So just put this here. Up here we have this quick release lever, and on the other side there is an adjustment knob where you can adjust the tightness. Let's take our handlebar stem and feed this through. Looks like the cable's not long enough, so I'll need to pull this quick release lever and move this down here. And then looking at this orientation, we want the brake levers facing forward, so it'll be like that. If we lower it this much, we're able to feed it through. And right here it says min insertion, so it needs to be above this line. And it looks like it's a little loose, so I'm going to turn this adjustment knob clockwise until it's tight. And looks like that's good. So I'll lock this into place. Looking at the handlebar, when you're sitting on the bike, you can rest your hands and these brake levers should be at a relaxed position. Right now it seems a little high. So there's a quick release lever right here that I need to loosen, but this display is in the way. You can either use the Allen key to loosen and pull this off, but I noticed that if I pull this up and slide this, it provides enough clearance like that, and then I can move this down to my desired position, and then I can pull this quick release lever back down, and then I can move the display back, and then when I have it in its desired position, this takes a 2.5 millimeter Allen key, and I actually didn't see it in the set. I had to pull it from a different tool set, so that's just something to note that you might have to find your own. And then you tighten it on both sides. Next we'll install the front wheel. There is this bolt with nuts that you need to take off from the fork, and then there's this piece of plastic that holds the brake pads together during shipment that you can move to the side. We'll take our front wheel and then line up the side with the disc brake with the caliper. Loosen these two bolts on the wheel first, and then there's like a bolt, a washer, and then the axle, so we'll fit that through right here, and we want to line up the disc brake between the brake pads. You can lift the entire bike up and put it upside down if you want. That's probably easier. All right, so I got it in. I have the axle, the washer, the fork, then this outer washer, and then I tighten this screw with the 5 millimeter Allen key, and I did it on this other side as well. Next, we'll install the front fender. We'll take our 5 millimeter Allen key. We'll take this bolt out, including the washer. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll do the same thing on the front of the fork. There's actually a nut holding it on the back in place, so that's that. We're gonna take our fender, and there's this bracket right here. We're actually gonna feed it underneath the fork and onto the other side. I tried putting it behind, but then the bolt that it came with was not long enough to accommodate the headlight and the nut. I'm going to take the bolt with the washer, and then I'll feed it through the headlight, through this fender, back through the fork, and then I'll use the nut that it came with, and then I'll tighten all of this together. So that is tight. And then I'll take these smaller bolts with the washer, and then I'll feed it through the fender rods and then back on this fork bracket, and I'll tighten it. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Next, we're going to install the pedals. The pedals are directional. There's a left side and a right side. For the right side over here, this is lefty loosey, righty tighty. So I'm going to turn it to the right or clockwise by hand first, just to get the thread started. And then I'll use my 15mm wrench and then get this tight. And then for the left side, it's actually lefty tighty, righty loosey. So if you turn it counterclockwise, then it will tighten it. I'm turning it counterclockwise and it's tightening. And then I'll take my 15mm wrench and finish it. The next item you can adjust is the seat. So there's this quick release lever here, and then you can adjust it to your desired position. And right now you can see, even though it's tight, it's still loose. So similar to the front fork, I'm going to adjust the nut on the other side clockwise until this is tight. And now it holds in place. Everything has been assembled. I would just double check the rear derailleur to make sure it's shifting right. I would check the front and rear brakes to make sure that they're not rubbing and adjust that accordingly. I'd also inflate the tires. Next, we're going to take a look at the battery. You can't see it, but on this side, which I'll show you in a second, there is a rubber piece similar to this right here, and that's where you would charge the battery. You would plug this in and then plug the opposite end into an outlet. This should turn red, and when it's fully charged, it'll turn green. So right now, the battery is locked. In order to unlock it, there's 2 sets of keys by the handlebar. Turn counterclockwise in order to unlock, and this pops out. Let me just show you the battery. Those that are interested, this is the information on the battery. This is the bottom of the battery, the side, the top, the other side, the bottom, and then the plugs right here. Right here we have this rubber seal. You can take it off, or you can actually turn it on and off without doing that. There's a circle and a line. Circle means that it's off. The line means that it's on. So if I turn it off and press this power button, it doesn't show anything, but if I turn it on, if I press the power button, then it shows the battery status. There's 3 green lights and then 1 red light. And then on this other side, this is the charging port. This is what the contacts look inside the bike. This is the other end with the key. And then I'll put the battery back in, and that just clicks into place. And you can take the key out. Here's the unlocking mechanism. Just push this forward and pull, and then this comes out. I'm not going to mess with this right now. I'm just going to close it back up, push this to close. Let's take a look at the controls. Starting from the left side, we have the grip, we have the front brake lever, we have the controls, we have the display, the 7-speed shifter, the thumb throttle, and then the rear brake lever, also another grip. I have the battery off right now. I want to see if I'm able to turn it on, and it was able to get that initial jolt, but it did not turn on. So make sure that the battery is on. I just changed it to on. You press and hold the power button, and then it cycles through, and it shows that information. We have the battery level, we have the speed, current speed in kilometers per hour, we have the pedal assist level, the trip, we can change this from trip, odometer, max speed, and average speed. There's the plus and minus arrows, so I can get the 5 different levels of pedal assist. And then the front is the, looks like an I button. There's the trip, odometer, max speed, and average speed. And then this button on the side, bottom, it turns the headlight on. And then the screen also dims. And I noticed that Let me just lift the rear wheel off the ground so it doesn't rub. If I press and hold the minus button, it has this walk mode, so I'm getting 6 kilometers per hour. If I press and hold the plus button, nothing happens. I noticed that if I push and hold both buttons, it goes to like a programming mode. But I'm going to go through all of them so that you know what it is by default. Number 1, it looks like you can change it from kilometers to miles, and if I press the I button, it starts flashing right here, and if I push up, it goes to miles per hour. So I want it in miles per hour, so I'm going to keep it to that. I pushed the top button right here, and it brought me back to the number. Number 2 says 48. I'm guessing this is the voltage. Number 3 says 0 to 5. Number 4 says 22 inch. This is probably the wheel size. Number 5 says 06. Not sure what that is. Number 6 says 35 kilometers. This might be the max speed, so perhaps you can change the max speed through here. I'll try that in a second. Number 7 says 18.0. Number 8 says run-f. Number 9 says HL-N. Number 10 says P5D-N. And number 11 says 10. I couldn't figure out how to get out of this by pressing any of the buttons. So I pressed and held the power button, turned off, and then I turned it back on and it stayed at miles per hour. I'm just going to check the max speed in each gear with the thumb throttle. So I have the rear tire off the ground and pedal assist 0. I'm getting 21.8 miles per hour. It seemed to reach that speed really fast. Pedal assist 1, we're at 10.9 miles per hour. Pedal assist 2, we're at 13.3. Pedal assist 3, we're at 16. Pedal assist 4, we're at 18.7. Pedal assist 5, we're at 21.8. So I'm going to go back in the settings, and I'm going to go to that. Back in the settings, I'm going to go to number 6, and I want to change this from 35 kilometers. Let's see what the max is. So 41 is the max. Doesn't go any higher. So let's turn this off and turn it back on. So we went to 21.8 miles per hour. So I don't know if there's a way to unlock the max speed. Yeah, it's still showing 41 kilometers kmh. So I think you can limit it to a slower max speed. The lowest is 12. Yeah, not sure what that is then, because when I set it to 12, it still went to 21.8 miles per hour. I'll just set it back to 41. And in order to turn off, you press and hold the power button. Right now we're going to test the e-bike. We're going to check the acceleration and max speed in each pedal assist level on pedaling and throttle only. First, we're going to test the pedaling only. I'm on pedal assist 0, as you can see, with the 0 there. And I'm just going to pedal. Right off the bat, I feel some resistance. It's about 5 to 10% more effort than just a regular bike without a motor. The motor adds a little bit of resistance, which is normal, but it's not a lot. I'm gonna go to pedal assist 1, and just for your information, I'm on the lowest gear on the bottom so I can get the highest top speed. I felt the motor kick in, and now I'm at 10.10 miles per hour. Pedal assist 2, felt the motor kick in again, and I'm at 13 miles per hour. Pedal assist 3, I'm at 14 miles per hour. I'm on pedal assist 4, and I'm getting 19.9 miles per hour before the motor kind of cut off. And pedal assist 5, still feeling the torque. and I'm getting 22.6 miles per hour, which I believe is the max speed. Even though I'm on the lowest gear on the back and I'm pedaling, I feel that it's pretty easy. Like, I could be pedaling faster if I wanted to, but more effort doesn't really equate to more power. We're gonna do this again, but with the thumb throttle only, pedal assist 0. I should be able to get the full 22 miles per hour. And there's the 22.6, and I felt that the motor kind of cut off a little once I hit that speed. So let's come to a stop. Let's go to pedal assist 1. And it stopped at 12 miles per hour. Pedal assist 2. 13.9. I didn't really feel a kick that time because the bike was already going. Let's go to pedal assist 3. Let the motor kick in. Stopped at 17.7 miles per hour. Pedal assist 4. 19.9. And pedal assist 5, we should get that full 22.6 miles per hour. And we did, and it kind of backed off a little. Let me just show you what it's like from a standstill on pedal assist 5. It's probably the same as pedal assist 1 or 0. And we're going up the slight incline. So that was the time it took to get to 22.6 miles per hour. And we're able to hold that consistently. I want to see how long it takes to get to the max speed of 22.6 miles per hour with pedal assist only and pedal assist 5. So here we go. Let the motor kick in. And we hit the 23, that's about 23 miles per hour. Anything over 22, I think if you continue pedaling, you're just wasting effort because of this class e-bike. I think it's a class 1 or 2. Right now we're going to test the brakes. There are hydraulic brakes, which is really nice. And this is by no means a scientific method, it's just my way of roughly estimating how good the brakes are from stock by comparing it to cars. Let's hit the 22 miles per hour. Behind this Delsil. And we stopped right in front of the Delsil. Right behind this truck. And we stopped right at the front tires. So, behind this truck. And we stopped right at the front wheels, right before the front wheels. It's probably 8 feet. The braking pads haven't been broken in yet, so with that braking in process or bedding process, we should be able to stop faster, but just out of the box, that's about how good it's gonna get, which is pretty good. Right now I'm gonna bike around and give you my thoughts on this e-bike. I'm gonna start with the positives or pros. What I like about this e-bike is that it has this very unique folding frame. You can see that the standover height is very low, which means that short people can ride this bike. So let me show you. If I just stop and get off, there's like so much clearance between my crotch and the tube right there. So it's very easy to ride, or very low. I also like that it has hydraulic disc brakes, which makes the braking feel very smooth and predictable. Out of the box, I did have to adjust the front and rear brakes. They were rubbing, but that's like any disc bicycle. You just need to do some fine tuning. The display is very intuitive. You can see the battery level, your current speed, your pedal assist level, and other information like the odometer and max speed and such. And it makes everything very presentable. It's bright outside and I can still see the display. There is some glare, which is fine as long as I can see the speed. The motor has a good amount of torque. It's a 500 watt Bafang rear hub motor, but it says Sutto on the back. Not sure if that's a like a rebranding or just a subset of Bafang. Bafang motors are reputable from my experience, so you can trust that this motor is good. And there are customization programming settings that you can do on the display. You can pull the stem up and down, you can fold this, you can fold that. The battery is removable. It also has adjustable forks, you can lock it or you can change the suspension level. And then there's 4 LEDs on the headlight, which is very nice. There's also a rear rack back here and a tail light, and overall it just works. When I did hit 22 miles per hour on pedal assist 5 on the lowest gear on the back, it was very easy to pedal due to the gearing in the front. I feel like they could have added a bigger chain ring, but I think after 22 miles per hour, any effort that you put in will be wasted because the motor will not kick in due to the class rating of e-bike. Coming to the cons, one thing I noticed is that this is a very heavy e-bike. It's 74 pounds, and you can think of it as a good or a bad thing. It's good because the bike feels very sturdy, meaning if I got in an accident, I think this frame and e-bike would survive. And yeah, it just feels very stable when you're riding it. The rear rack feels heavy duty. You can fit like a child or your belongings or whatever you want to put there. You can also sit on it if you wanted to. The downside is that it is heavy. It's kind of interesting that they made this a folding bike. When I think of folding bikes, I think of portability and lightness, and I don't feel like this bike is very portable, but I guess if you wanted to fold this up and put it in your car, you could. It's just pretty heavy. Or if you wanted to lift it upstairs, it's quite heavy as well. That's pretty much the only bad thing I had to say about it, and you can consider that as a pro or a con because it is sturdy and stable, but it might be hard to carry. It also has a max range of 50 to 80 miles, which is a very long distance. I wasn't able to test that out. If you're in the market for an e-bike that folds, has a lot of adjustments, has a very short standover height for the shorter riders, and you can also adjust this for taller riders, and you can check this e-bike out. It's the ESKUTE Star e-bike. If you found this video helpful, please like this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and if you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. So thank you guys for watching, and take care.